Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Today is going to be a transfer news video, and it's going to be an exciting one because the ball is really rolling now in Leeds United's transfer window, and it better had be because the deadline is on Friday. Before we get into it though, make sure you hit that big red button down below. But like I said, today's video is going to be about transfers, and I have it on good authority that Leeds are looking to bring in 3 more players before the end of the window on Friday. And that could include SALLAI, who I've done a video on, Gustavo Hamer, who we're going to be talking about in this video, and Tanaka, who we are also going to be talking about in this video. Now, Leeds have brought in Manor Solomon on loan today from Spurs for a season-long loan, straight loan, no option to buy. He's in the door, so is Laji Ramazani. And then, of course, you are looking now at today, where we found out the news, or maybe yesterday, that Leeds have had a £13 million bid rejected for Gustavo Hamer from Sheffield United. Now, Gustavo Hamer was a player that Leeds looked at certainly last season, but obviously instead of taking that move from Coventry to Leeds United, he took the step to the Premier League with Sheffield United and then eventually got relegated. Now, Sheffield United are rating Gustavo Hamer at around £18 million according to reports, and so Leeds would need to meet that asking price or a lot closer than 13 million to be able to get that deal across the line. So it's an interesting one because Gustavo Hamer is obviously a player that Leeds have profiled before and gone, this guy really would work for our system. He can play in that number 8 role. He can also get forward as well. Defensively, okay, not the best in the world, but he's decent. And he's the sort of player where he would come in and really kind of level up that midfield in terms of going forward, scoring goals, adding that kind of extra element. Now, Gustavo Hamer is somebody who I have made a full video on him, so I will link that somewhere. You might see it on the screen now. I've also made a full video on Tanaka as well, because we have been linked before to him, the Fortuna Dusseldorf midfielder. But first, we're going to go into a little bit about Gustavo Hamer. Like I said, really good on the ball, press resistant, able to beat a man, and able to get forward as well and create chances. Now, his statistics are a little bit skewed because over the last 365 days, of course, he has been playing in the Premier League for a Sheffield United team that went down with a bit of a whimper, really. So they weren't great at all. Look, they were really poor. They got relegated, and Gustavo Hamer was part of that, and obviously, therefore, in a kind of statistics point of view, his pass completion and stuff will be a lot lower than it was, 18 months ago when we last looked at him. So, Gustavo Hamer, though, like I said, the profile player is box-to-box midfielder, really good at picking a ball up off the defence and taking it forward, which is something that Daniel Farke wants his midfielders to be able to do. You've seen that Ampadu and Gruev drop deep. Sometimes Gruev even drops into that left-back role to receive the ball to try and ease that kind of passage of play out from the back. So Gustavo Hamer is somebody who can certainly carry the ball, bring it out from the back and bring Leeds into the middle third. He's also somebody who can make those runs beyond the striker. He's got a good shot on him, a good shot from distance, and he's a very, very decent player. Tanaka is someone who Leeds are also looking at, and in the region of around £2.6 million. It's a bargain, and I think he's certainly someone we should go out and look to get. Like I said, I've done a full video on that, so if you search Leeds Lately, Tanaka, it should come up. But they are both very decent options, and I would like to bring both of them in, to be honest, and SALLAI. So those could be the 3. Those could be the 3. Could be looking at Hamer, who almost is... He's not the most similar player in the world, but if you're looking to get somebody who is kind of on the level of a Gabriel Sara in terms of a central midfielder for the Championship, Gustavo Hamer is as close as you get, I think, in terms of the way that he plays. Tanaka, again, he's a little bit more of a kind of... He has been in the past a little bit more of like a defensive kind of number 8, but he is able to carry that ball as well. He is able to create chances, not a massive amount of chances, but he is still able to create chances. We'll have a little look at his statistics as well. So now we'll get into that. You can see on the screen now, or you should be able to, that it is overlaid their 2 statistics against each other. So you can see at the top it says versus midfielders. So we're not looking at attacking midfielders because Hamer has played further forward. So we're doing it versus midfielders. You can see that Gustavo Hamer is in the red and Tanaka is in the blue. Now, Tanaka, in terms of shot creating action. So let's have a look at the kind of the attacking chance creation side of things first. So Tanaka, in terms of shot creation, is only up there with shot creating actions 2.35 per 90, which puts him in the 52nd percentile, so distinctly average. Whereas you'll see that Gustavo Hamer's shot creating actions puts him in the 87th percentile, because he is actually creating 3.64 shots per 90. So he's creating essentially nearly an extra 2 shots per 90 over Tanaka. So you can tell by this that he's more of an attacking midfielder. This is kind of the profile that we're looking at here. I would say that Tanaka, to be honest, is a little bit more of a kind of an extra Gruev, an extra Ampadu. I'm not 100% sure how much we need them, but given the fact that those players could get injured, it would be good to have more backup there, because once you take Gruev and Ampadu out of the situation, you've got Joe Rothwell, he's more of a number 8, and then after that is Charlie Crew, who's very, very young. So it would be all right to have cover in Tanaka, and if you can only get him for a few £1 million, it's great. Also, commercially, a great deal would be that one for Tanaka as well from Fortuna Dusseldorf. So, in total, you're seeing that the pass completion is way higher from Tanaka. His is way, way up there. Pass completion from Gustavo Hamer is almost like virtually non-existent. Pass completion is 68.3%, the 2nd percentile, so really, really poor from Gustavo Hamer. But again, that can be explained away by the fact that he's been playing in such a poor Sheffield United team. Whereas you see that Tanaka playing for Fortuna Dusseldorf, his pass completion percentage is 87.9 in the 88th percentile. So he's really good at keeping the ball. However, he isn't exactly the most kind of progressive player in the world, but in the last 365 days, he's still been a lot more progressive than Gustavo Hamer. So you have to take these things with a pinch of salt, because I do believe that Gustavo Hamer is more of an attacking player than Tanaka. But Gustavo Hamer hasn't had the chance to do that because he's been playing in a Premier League team where they've been under the cosh every week pretty much. You can see, however, that they've both received a similar amount of progressive passes. So you can see down in the kind of bottom right of this chart, progressive passes received. So basically, passes received in the final third. So how are they getting forward? Are they receiving those passes high up the pitch? Are they involved in creating chances and creating actions on goal? Yes, they both are. They're both players who will do their job in midfield, but also get forward as well. And I think it's important to note that they will do that. Gustavo Hamer is 5'7", so when it comes to things like aerials won, he's going to be really low, but Tanaka is around average for that as well. So, look, these are two players who, as you can see by this, both of them kind of create some chances. Both of them score goals. I mean, Tanaka has way outperformed his XG really. And let's have a little look at how many goals he's scored. So in this season, he's played 3 games, scored 0. But last season, he played 30 games, started 24, scored 7 and assisted 3. So that's really good for someone who's coming from that midfield role. And Gustavo Hamer, of course, playing in that Sheffield United team in the Premier League, scored 4, assisted 6, which is still really good considering how kind of poor of a team he's playing in. So you can imagine how the level would rise once getting back into a championship team. So look, these are both very good options. It's not a full this isn't a full analysis video because I have done full analysis on both of these players. So if you want to, you can go and check those old videos out. But this is more of a news. We're looking at both of these and Roland SALLAI. Roland SALLAI, around €9 million apparently, because he's in the final year of his contract. A lot of people like me are interested in this one because he's kind of seen as a very high-level player for the Championship, and if somebody in the Championship could get him, i.e. Leeds, it would actually be a bit of a coup. And considering he's only got a year left on his deal and we could get him out of Freiburg for not very much money in the grand old scheme of things, I think it would be an ambitious move, and I think it would be a move that Leeds fans would enjoy. Where does this leave us then? So, like I said, it looks like Leeds are trying to get 3 more in by the end of the window. If it was to be Tanaka, Gustavo Hamer and Roland SALLAI, that leaves us in a position where we haven't signed a number 10. Now, I did make a video the other day talking about why it was important that we had a number 10 who could play that role, and I certainly believe that Brendan Aronson has got partially that skill set kind of filled out. but I think there needs to be somebody in there who has that kind of cutting edge in terms of passing and passing the ball into the final third. And you could say that Gustavo Hamer is somebody who will come forward and help with that, or play in the number 10 himself if needs be. But I can't move away from the fact that I like Ilan Cabal, and I do think that somebody like him would massively complement us, and I would happily have, at the expense of somebody like Tanaka, I would happily bring in Ilan Cabal or a number 10. Now, Roland SALLAI is somebody who can play on the wing, either wing, and play in striker. Not really somebody who can play that much in the number 10. I wonder if Leeds are potentially looking at playing Wilfried Gnonto in the 10 with Brendan Aronson as an option as well. But the way I see it at the moment, we are lacking in number 10 options. We've got Brendan Aronson. After that, you've got two options that we've seen used by Daniel Farke in this squad. And those two options are Joel Peru and Joe Rothwell. Now, to tackle the first one, Joel Peru, it's not his fault, but he's not a number 10. He's not somebody who's going to carry the ball well. He's not somebody who's going to pass the ball all too well. He's not somebody who's going to control the ball all too well either. So for me, he's not an option there. Whilst he has been used there, he's not an option there for me. Joe Rothwell, again, like we said before, and I can't remember who it was, it might have been Jer or Lockie, one of them said, it's not fair to him to expect him to do that number 10 role, because that is not his game at all. He is a number 8. He's a box-to-box midfielder who is very tenacious, good on the ball. We've done a whole video on him. Check that out as well if you want to throw into so many videos in this video, but it's all people we've been linked with before. It's gone crazy. Anyway, those players aren't options there for me. So you have Brendan Aronson there, and you have the option of playing Wilfried Gnonto through the middle as well. I think that's weak. I think that is weak. I like to see Gnonto out on the left, cutting inside, using the half space and scoring his goals from there, because I think that is where he's best. That is where you get the best out of Wilfried Gnonto. In terms of a 10, I think we need an out-and-out 10. I still think we need a 10. We've been linked with Elias Chair. That's got its own complications with his past history and stuff. A lot of people saying that they don't want him to come in. But I just think we need a number 10. If it has to be at the kind of expense of somebody like Tanaka, then so be it. But for me, I would rather bring in a number 10. So for me, what's on my wish list then? Gustavo Hamer, Roland SALLAI, and a number 10. That's as simple as it is. Gustavo Hamer, Roland SALLAI, and a number 10. If we're to get 3 in, that is. If we're guaranteed 3, then it's those 3. And for me, that number 10 still at the moment would be Ilan Cabal from Paris FC. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. It's all kind of blown up a little bit, so make sure you hit the like button and hit the notification bell as well, so you don't miss an upload when we do find out more news about this, because the deadline closes on Friday, so it's not too long now before we find out what our final squad is going to be for the season. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one.